exciting speaker right here. And her name is Mylynka.
Yes.
That's right. Mylynka Cardona. And she has a PhD in transatlantic history from UT
Arlington.
Yeah.
Go Maps.
And has a background in historical cartography. Now, we all know what cartography is because the current exhibit is on maps, and there's a poster back there explaining cartography. Hey, friend. There's seats. So Mylynka also has a background in Atlantic revolutions and intercultural transfers. Her 2015 dissertation, which was The 6 Lives of Alexandrine.
How do
you say that? Teenage. Okay.
Teenage.
Look at the Dutch woman's explorations on the Nile River in the 1850s and 60s. She has taught courses in both world and United States history, as well as cartography, 19th century women travelers, and women's and gender studies. She's currently a map curator at the Texas General Land Office, Archives and Records Division in Austin. And so we welcome Mylynka.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Cam. Thank you. Thank you everybody for getting out, especially I know several people are out of power this morning, ourselves included. So thanks for getting up and getting ready in the dark and coming to see us. I'd like to thank the History Center and Pam Stranahan for the invitation to come and speak, and for all of you guys for getting up and coming and spending a Saturday morning with us. So, I'm Mylynka Cardona, and like Cam said, I am a map curator at the Texas General Land Office. So, how many of you know about the Texas General Land Office? More than most people, right? How many of you guys have been? Anybody been? Hands been. A couple of people have been. Yeah, I figured you've probably been. So a lot of people don't know about the Texas General Land Office, like who we are and what we do. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that before I start talking about maps. So we have a lot of different things that the General Land Office does. I've got outlined here. We manage all the state lands, all of the permanent school funds. So if any of you school teachers and former school teachers know about the permanent school fund, we manage all of the funds for that and generating funds and revenue for that. Care for the Coast, really important to you guys down here. Veteran services. So we have the Veterans Land Board. We run the Veterans Cemetery and the retirement homes for veterans. We have a lot of great veterans programs. Also a big part of disaster recovery and the division I'm in, a home for Texas history. The mission is here to serve the school children, veterans, and all people of Texas by preserving their history, protecting the environment, expanding economic opportunity, and maximizing state revenue through innovative administration and prudent stewardship of state lands and resources. So that's what we do. It's a lot. It's hard to come up with a mission for everything we do, but this is a pretty good one. So let me give you I am a historian, so I'll give you a little brief history of the GLO. This tells you how important land is to Texas. The GLO was the very first agency created by the Constitution of 1836. So Texans wanted to know, what land do we have and how are we going to use it? It was also established to collect all of the records of the land grants that had been given to people from the Kingdom of Spain and also from Mexico. So it began as a way to consolidate all of this land so people could know who owns what is ours, what else can be ours, and how can we make money off of this, right? The GLO was also formed to distribute land grants to Texas Revolution veterans and their widows. In fact, on some of the county maps, you'll see land grants for Davy Crockett in 1837. People are like, wait a minute. 1837, that doesn't compute. But his family members came down and were able to claim his land grants, because the theory is for the soldiers that were killed in action, the thought was that they would have served out their full term and therefore were allowed to have their land grants. So you'll see some interesting names and dates on some of the land grants. So that was part of what the GLO does. First land office was opened in Houston, October 1st, 1837. And Sam Houston appointed John Pettit, went too far. John Pettit Borden, this thing is fast. Try it again. There we go. Doesn't want it. No, that's John Pettit Borden. See him before he disappears. There we go. John Pettit Borden, he was the very first commissioner of the GLO. And by the Constitution, he was obliged by law to, quote, superintend, execute, and perform all acts touching or representing the public lands of Texas. His primary duty, like I said before, was to get all the land records together and translate them into English, because all the original land grants from Spain and Mexico are all in Spanish. And we have these land grants, and we actually have a Spanish translator on staff, that's his job, to translate and get these things situated. One of the other functions of the early GLO is to figure out what to do with all this land and to use it as payment. The early republic was cash poor, but land rich. And so land grants were used to pay people. You want to help make improvements, you want to build a canal, great. You build that for us and we'll pay you with land. And all these things. You want to do structures, things like that were all paid for in land, because that is what we had. So land grant was used to encourage development in Texas and also to help build a tax base, so that once people got here and stayed here, the republic could start generating land. It was also a way to fund the revolution. Join the war, have some land when you're done. And I already said for veterans. All right, so what do we have at the land office? Maps, 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 lots and lots of maps. Over 40,000 maps in our collection. Variety of maps, sketches, surveys, land grants. All of these things have in our collection. Our oldest map, which I'll talk about in a minute, is from 1561. And our most recent map was just published in this year, actually, 2016. So every map we have, like all maps, right? Like all of these guys, they represent a location in space, but they also represent a time, right? So every map you look at is representing not only a place, but a time. And it's really important to think about that when you're looking at cartography or historical cartography, because maps tell you a lot more than just this is Texas, right? What the shape is, but it can tell you very specific things about what was happening at that time, and what maps can tell us about the time in which they were created. So maps also tell lots of tall tales. So in our collection we have a lot of sheet maps generally, like all of these are individual sheets. We do have some bound volumes and atlases. Bulk of our collection is from about 1840 to about 1970. And we have all kinds of maps, engraved maps, lithographs, which were stone printed, copperplate engraved maps, and lots of manuscript maps. The bulk of our collection is manuscript, which means hand-drawn. Surveys, because land surveys are the bulk of ours, were hand-drawn for a very, very long time. We also have a great collection of aerial photography of the Texas coast, and all the county maps of Texas. Even some dead counties that don't exist anymore. And then our newest map, this is Commissioner Bush's map. Every commissioner puts out a map. They have been doing that since 1954, I believe. And every commissioner of the General Land Office, or every land commissioner, I should say, publishes a map kind of showcasing their interests for Texas, or generally the entire state. And so this is the brand new one that just came out last month, which is showing the history of energy in Texas. So it's hard to see on here, but you can get on the website and look at it. There's actually, I think it's commissionerbushmap.com, which is an interactive version of this map. But you can go and kind of trace the history to see when the oil boom happened and watch them all come up, or the wind farms, or any of the natural gas and stuff like that all across the map. So every year, or every commissioner, I should say, a new map comes out. All right, so let's talk about some maps. This is our very oldest map. When I asked Pam what I should talk about, she said, how about your oldest map, your most popular map, and then something just really interesting. So I love this map. I do have a soft spot for old maps. So this is the Nueva Hispania Tabula Nova from 1561. It is the oldest map we have that shows the land that will one day be Texas, right? Oh, it does, good. So, you know, Texas is kind of here, where all these mountains are, and our massive mountainous areas of Texas. But if you look at this land, so 1561, this was done by an Italian cartographer named Girolamo Ruscelli, published in Venice, Italy in 1561, and it is 9.5 by 12 inches. So it's little. This map is itty bitty. And on the back side, it does have a lot of text written in Latin that talks a little bit about it. But what I love about this map is that it shows kind of what the Spaniards knew about the area, or what they thought they knew about the area at the time. None of the rivers that are listed here are anything we know now. I mean, they've got a lot of different, but Mexico City is right here and it's awfully close to Texas. But what I really like about this is they show Mexico City as it originally was, as a lake. So if you didn't know, Mexico City was actually a lake. The Spaniards drained it.
Wow.
That's why Mexico City sits in a bowl now, and why so much of it sinks, because it's like that. And the irony is now Mexico City has to have water shipped in from the mountains for its 27 million inhabitants. But yeah, so on old maps, a lot of times you'll see Mexico City as it was, which was a city on a lake. And Mexico City is much further north than you think. But all of the red on here,
North or south?
I'm sorry, it's showing further north than it is. I'm looking at the south part of the map. Thank you. But all of these will be missions, cathedrals that they put up, and cities. But if you notice, they definitely the cities that were already there. This is the European representation, right, of what a city would look like. Because if you've been to Mexico City at all,
is that an original map in the GLO, or is that like a lithograph of?
No, this is an original. It's not a No, this one is a manuscript now. Yeah.
So it's an original manuscript.
Wow.
How did we acquire it?
It was here when I got here. I can find out. We bought it. I know we've purchased. In fact, it's like in the candy store on what day was that? It was Friday. Tuesday of this past week. We got four maps in that we just purchased. So. Yeah, it's very nerdy and exciting. We all go in and run around and look at them.
And they're all original maps.
2 are printed. We didn't get any manuscript hand-drawn maps in this last one. They're all prints, and there's a gorgeous one of Corpus Christi that we just got in from like 1851, and a couple of military maps, and I forgot what the other one was. I must not have loved it as much. So this is the oldest one, and they're beautiful, hand-colored maps. So.
It's amazing how accurate.
It is, for the time they got the shape. They got the shape pretty much down. Yeah, pretty close.
They probably had a drone that they
took
a
picture. Exactly. All right, so you guys probably recognize this one a little bit. So this is the GLO's most popular map, which is the De Cordova map of the state of Texas, 1849. And then there were a lot of later versions of this as well. But this map was published in 1949. It's a 33 by 32 inch map, so it's almost 3 foot square. It's a good sized map. Why it's so popular? People really enjoy this map now because here we go. Because in the inset, it shows Texas at its largest extent. We like things big here in Texas. We like it when Texas takes up more of the United States, right? So it shows Texas all the way at its furthest point north. De Cordova was a land agent for Texas and an early colonizer and then later a state representative. So he was really involved in Texas and settlement and mapping and keeping the idea of Texas. And you kind of see our state shape forming, right? As we know, but we have our tall tail at the top. This is a map that was generated from land records, all the records of the GLO that they had at the time. So it was considered the most accurate map of Texas at its time because it was compiled from all of the surveys that had been done up until this point. At a very close up. Well, I wanted to show you the close-up, but it's zooming out on me for some reason. There we go. One more. And, well, okay. We'll just go straight to the zoom of where we are today. But this is Aransas County, shown on the 1849 map. It looks like there's one little city out there on the very, very tip. And no bridge. No bridge yet. But I thought since we're here, I'd show you where you guys are located on this particular map. But one thing that's great about this map is that not only does it show the fullest extent of Texas in 1849, which encompasses now parts of New Mexico and Wyoming and Colorado, but it was the map that was used for a very long time for legal disputes and representation of Texas. De Cordova used it a lot as incentive to get people to come to Texas. You know, look at all this great land, look at all these resources that we have, you know, and look at all this space that we have. You know,
Mylynka?
Yes, ma'am?
In the middle there where it says Aransas C, is that possibly Aransas City?
It could be, oh yeah, because it's S-C-Y. I think so, up there on the,
See
on the
that,
very
Pam?
end.
I do.
Right here?
Yeah. I see Lamar on there already. And Lamar.
Lamar's right here, and Copano, I guess, and Port Preston. Mustang Island and St. Joseph Island are on there both. Yeah, so figured you guys would be interested in that. But yeah, it's like
That is really a great map.
That is.
it's a gorgeous map. It is a gorgeous map, and I have one to give away. I will draw from the names that you guys signed up. I'll draw randomly. Yeah. So see, that's the hook, right? You guys sign up and be like, hey, check this out. So yes, I have one. I have a copy of one that somebody will get to take home today. All right, so let's bring it home a little bit. This I saw you guys have out in your exhibit. The 1888 map of Rockport, Texas, Aransas County. This map, I really like this map for several reasons. One, it shows, oh, and I've got some, I'll zoom in here in a second. It's a beautifully rendered map. It's in desperate need of some love. It's old. But what I love about this map is its sole purpose was to get people to come and buy land or buy plots. Okay, come down here, and it was done by the, well, I think I have a title slide next. Technology. There you go. So it has this gorgeous title. Okay, so you have the five-pointed Star of Texas, beautifully ornate drawing Aransas County. You've got some sunshine motifs, right? Where, if you're living in, you know, New York and it's winter, what do you want? Not snow, right? So come to Rockport. So this map was commissioned by the Aransas Pass Land Company, they were originally the Texas Homestead and Farmers Association, which formed in 1882. But they changed their name to the Aransas Pass Land Company, and their whole goal was to get folks down here. And so I love this because you have the ships bringing you in, so representing trade, representing travel. You have all the kind of local palm, and you've got cacti. There's all kinds of things just showing you kind of the diversity and the warm weather and the ocean to come. So this is the detail of the map showing all the different land plots. I tried to find this exact plot, but the way the streets are in here, I'm not sure if they still go the same. I think on the map, we're like right in here. When I looked it up, because the one cross street, I wasn't sure which one of these it hopped, so I'm like, we were either like square 38 or 39, and I tried to get it, but I was like, I don't want to pull up the wrong one, and then you guys will tell me about it. So it's better to guesstimate. Okay. So yeah, this shows, and I mean, each of these blocks have about 16 spaces. So these were for shops, for residences, that sort of thing. And I love this. This is how you know it's a business map. Sale of land. The company will offer on the 7th, 8th, and 9th days of August a public auction, a limited number of these lots, period. Advancing the price 200% immediately after the sale. But before the sale day, lots can be bought from B. Gibbs of Rockport or Jane B. Simpson of Dallas, Texas. So I love this because it tells us a lot of things. One, it says they're only on sale on these days, but if you want to buy them before, you can. But you don't want to find this out on the 10th because then 200% up. Wow. Oh, and I missed it. Oh, didn't have the picture. Ah, this is what, I forgot an inset. The other thing I love about this, and you'll be able to take a look at it up close out there, is this is the enticement right here. The great summer and winter resort of the South. The most available future seaport of Texas. The nearest port on the Texas coast to the Mexican and South American trade. Situated on the mainland 30 feet above the storm tide. In 1888, maybe, right?
We shrunk.
Right. Finest shell beach fishing, bathing, and sailing on the coast, right? So this is not only, I mean, this tells us so many things, right? It's like, look at all these spaces we have. You know, we've got the picture of the ship and the calm and beautiful sea. We're a huge seaport close to all this Latin American trade, right? And if you want to go fishing and swimming, and this is the place for you, so come on down. Unfortunately, the company folded. There was some financial difficulties and stuff, but there was a big push. There's been some great books done about people coming, like the enticement to get people to come to Texas in the 19th century. This whole idea of kind of to get the booming in business and to get people to come down, and land is a big part of it. But at this point, this is getting near the end. I think maybe 10 years after this is when all the available land kind of went away. So a lot of people, developers, right, bought the lands to sell. Printed in Dallas, yeah, promotional map. So that is kind of what I wanted to spotlight about maps, and then talk a little bit more about GLO. So who uses all of these things besides me? There we go. There we go. So who uses the GLO? We had over 60,000 people come visit us last year. Come interact at our actual location, and countless more through our website, which I'm going to talk about our site a little bit. So who are they? Who are these people, and what are they interested? So they're people who like to study Texas history. Maybe they're genealogists. They like their local history, want to find out more about either their family. We have a huge collection of the Texas German immigrants, as well as Spanish, Confederate Texans, pretty much anything, any of the Six Flags of Texas. Although I don't think we don't have a huge French section. But other state agencies use us all the time. And in our surveying department, they're always having people come in or call in, lawyers especially, right, about land disputes and things like that. For us, we have a lot of, like I said, family genealogists, historians, students, archivists, just people who are interested in Texas and their history. So this is a screenshot. Pam asked me if I do a couple of screenshots of our website. So you can do a couple of things. We have the land grant database search. So if you know your family was an original grantee, you can find their original land grant, because we have all of them, and I believe most of them have been digitized. Almost 6 million land grants, about half of those are scanned. They've been scanning continuously for about 14 years in our scan lab, and they've got another probably 14 or more to go to get everything in. But eventually, everything will be available online. But this is great because if you're like, you think you know their last name, or maybe you know what type of headright it was, what type of land grant, you can look it up this way. Also have, there we go, is the surname index. So maybe you don't know what county the land was granted in, but you have your family name, family history name. You can look it up, and then we have code here, so you know if it was a muster roll, a German contract, you know, was it a script voucher that they were given. It'll help look. So this will pull up a list of last names, and then it has the file number next to them. So that's another great way to do this. So how do you protect all our stuff? Well, this is my freezing home, which is, this is one shot of the map vault there at the GLO. And housed in here is the cartography of all the borders of Texas. All the county borders of Texas, all the submerged lands of Texas. We're responsible for, I think, 10 miles out along the coast. All contained in here. It's constantly monitored, temperature and humidity. It is usually between 60 and 70 degrees in there with about 40% humidity. So it is cold and it is dry. And I always forget, you get in there and you get used to it, and then you walk back into the main building and it feels like a swamp in the main building, and you realize, no, it's just regular in there. We have a temperature range because there's only so much the systems can do. Of course, they get really taxed. So it gets up to, could get up to about 72 there in the summertime. We have HVAC and air cleaning systems running constantly to keep things from off-gassing. Everything is in metal cabinets. Don't keep your stuff in wooden cabinets because wood off-gasses and can deteriorate paper. So if you have family documents and stuff like that at home, put them in metal. We have this amazing fire suppression system that basically sucks all the oxygen out of the room. So if the alarm goes off, we have 30 seconds to get out of there before all the oxygen. It will suppress the fire and everything else that's in there. But we have that because everything inside those cabinets is old paper. It's also monitored 24/7. I have a pass key. Only select people can get in. The joke my entire first week of work was I'm the only map curator that had no access to the maps because I couldn't they hadn't had my pass right, so I always had to go with somebody to do my work. I mentioned scanning. We do have one of the biggest, largest scan labs in the area. And we scan for lots of other government agencies as well, the Texas State Library. We scan people's, we have the Frankie Carroll Holcomb collection, so private collectors are now starting to come to us and we digitize their collections for them. I won't lie, part of it is in the hope that they may will donate their collection to us one day. But that's how we keep and collect great mapping. But the other thing is you can order these maps. So we actually we sell prints of almost every single one of the maps that we have digitized. County maps, city maps, state, that 1561, if you like it in one frame copy, we do have them. So this is my spiel, right? This is the pitch, right? So how do you help, right? You guys are all obviously interested in Texas history, your local history. You're here at a history center. You're a part of it. You came to hear me talk on your day off, right? So how do we do this? How do we help? How do we get people to help? You can adopt a map, a document, or a collection. So if you guys wanted to adopt the Rockport map or a map of Aransas County, you can do that. All of them are tax deductible. Okay. What does your money go for? Conservation is one of the big things, right? No state money, we're a state agency, no state money is appropriated for conservation of maps. We're kind of like PBS in that way. We rely on donations from the public to go into the program. It's very expensive. Repairing items can run anywhere from $100 to $20,000, depending on the age and condition of the maps. Our goal, we'd like to spend about $100,000 a year conserving our maps, and we do everything through map sales and donations. Other part of our fund is education. As some of you are former teachers. We have, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we do have history lessons, plans, curriculum guides that are put together in-house by our K through 12 coordinator. His name's Buck Cole, and he's fantastic. He is a retired 7th grade teacher. Actually, he's retired from the Air Force and then retired from teaching, and he's fantastic. And he puts together all these materials. They're available free. You can just download them. So we have them on the Texas coast. We have lots of Texas history. So a lot of the money goes to that. Also for teacher workshops, to pay for teachers to come spend time at our workshops. To work on lesson plans and strategies for teaching Texas kids, and how to use primary source documents. I did a talk for some teachers, a teacher education night at the Bullock on how to incorporate maps as primary sources into classrooms and how to get kids into maps and mapping. I mean, today all they know about maps is they just Google, show me how to get to McDonald's or Starbucks or whatever. And so they don't have any idea where this comes from. So that's some of our goals. And the other thing we do is we have traveling educational workshops. So people like Buck, myself, we go out and we speak to teachers and we lead some. We actually have a workshop that we do in the summertime. Teachers actually come in, it's an all-day, we have about 80 teachers come. It's an all-day workshop, and I get, Buck's happy because he's gonna give me an hour to talk about the importance of maps and historical cartography, which is great. So the other thing that we do, which I mentioned last night to Pam, is something called Map Monday. This is one of my pet projects. This is something I do, so I write a weekly blog about a map in our collection. What's fantastic is you can sponsor a map. You can sponsor a week. They're about $25 a week, or if you're feeling really great, you can give us $10,000 and we'll just have nothing but Aransas County maps for an entire year. But what I do is I spotlight the map. So I research each map and write up to about 1,000 words or so blog talking about the map and its history. Now when we do the sponsorships, what we do is it has your name and organization everywhere. You know, this week sponsored by, and then we link back to the organization. This Patterson map that I did, we had about 900 individual clicks on it. So it's a great way. It's a great way for us to raise money and a great way for you guys to get exposure.
Is that on your Facebook page?
No, that is actually on a blog site called Medium, is where the blog is hosted. But we always it goes out on the Texas General Land Office Facebook page, the Save Texas History Facebook page. It gets tweeted out. A lot of us that are on Facebook, then we resend it out, so it gets put out a lot. But the numbers that we have are just specifically from the GLO website. So we get a lot of hits and a lot of interesting commentary. I'm either too slow or too fast on this thing. So the other thing you can do, you can help with acquisitions. You can donate. If you have maps in your collection and things like that, you can send us or donate money, obviously. Talk to us about what we need. Maybe you have something we don't have. Maybe you have, like everyone always hopes, right? You find it behind a picture frame and there's your original Constitution ready to go. We also do some stuff with school children, the hidden history. I'm sorry, this is the GLO, the referencing of historic maps. So what we try to do is we're digitizing, but then geo-referencing maps to show the modern look compared to the map. So like we were looking at that 1561 map and saying, that's a pretty accurate map. And then so we can overlay it over the map. So we're trying to do it for all of the counties of Texas. So eventually we're doing, but what the money goes into that is to help us have an intern to do all that so that we can keep doing our work and they can also get some experience. Buy a map. That's the thing you do. So this is the storefront for our map store. We have scanned in here 39,171 maps. Now, you can filter it down. So if you just like, you know what, I'd like an Aransas County map from 18 whatever, you can put those dates in and just those maps will come up. So you don't have to scroll through 40,000 maps to find it. If you're looking just for maps of Texas from a certain date, under category, you can even break it down. Like, I'm only looking for Spanish Texas, or I'm only looking for railroad maps of Texas, or I'm only looking for railroad maps in certain counties. And it's great, and it filters it all down for you. Sir?
On that subject, do you have highway maps at all?
We have